It's a new week, a new month, the third month of the year. It is March, and welcome to the Gliders on BETWGB Tv. Emmanuel Sebastian once again standing instead of Joy, who is not here today. And today I've got, my right-hand man with me, but this time I've got someone who's making a return on the show, and he is sitting right in the middle. His name is Jamiu Delashe. Jamiu, good to have you once again. Good to have you back on the show. How are you, and how have you been since the last time you were here?
Good day, everyone. Well, it's good to be back here, and I think this is the first time I'll be sitting in the studio with Mikolo since let me say 2027.
Wait, since you've been coming here, we've not done
2019 or so.
No one at all?
Yeah,
since you've been coming here, we've not done
we've not been on
really.
Because last time I was there, it was away with AFCON. So WAFCON. So
okay.
And this is the first time we'll be sitting in the same studio since 2020 or so. Yes, 2020. Yeah.
When was the first time?
I think it was in 2019 or so.
Yeah.
2019 or 2018.
Should be 19.
Yeah.
19 to 20.
All right, so you guys are back on set. Mikolo, let me come to you now. He's already introduced you, so but how does it feel to be on the microphone with Jamiu after such a long time?
It's nice, actually. I mean, I don't want to go into detail, but it's just nice to see how far everybody has come. We are free. That we used to do a show together in 103.1 FM when we were undergraduates.
Yeah.
So the third person is Sami Bamishebi, is the head of media for Ikorodu City. So we have history, and it's good to see how far everybody has come, and it's just nice to be on the set again. I mean, it shows growth, and that's what we're praying for. So it's very exciting when you see people that you once had dreams with, and then everybody's becoming grown men, feeding families with that job that we once started together as undergraduates in school. So it's good to be back on the show.
Indeed, good to be back. Just before we get into it, you were in Ghana in the last couple of days.
Yeah, Akwaba, Asante Sana.
So I wanted you to give us a lowdown of your trip. Why this whole talk of agents scam is currently ongoing. At least this one, Sporting Lagos signed up for the competition, then go and travel, then play them. So no pun intended. I just had to bring that. But how was your experience in Ghana?
Yeah, it was nice. It was a scouting tournament by Rock Nation. They are venturing into sports. They have a sports management. Rock Nation is owned by Jay-Z, so it was a really very big thing. And then they came with agents from major European countries, club sides were a lot. I mean, they come with major scouts that came to Ghana for that 1 week of tournament, and it was just very nice to compete. Beyond competing was also to show forth our boys, and I think we did that in spectacular fashion. We played 4 group games. Sporting Lagos Football Academy, we won 1, drew 1, and lost 2. But it was also nice to just compete against people from other countries. There are people from 5 countries: Ghana, Nigeria, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, and I think Guinea as well. So it was just very exciting. The scouts were impressed, I believe, and it just shows you a whole lot about football. Basically, just playing against people from other countries, physicality. I think is really lacking, and I think that's the takeaway for us, for personal point of view. In as much as we wanted to just sell players and showcase our talent, I think it was also very hard because of the physical side of things. We were playing against very bigger boys, and I think it just brings into perspective again what we say about athletes development in Nigeria, the things that we pay attention to, the things that we should be paying attention to. And it's not just us. I believe the last time Beyond Limits, which is rumored, this is seen as these are the 2 best academies in Nigeria. So Beyond Limits also went to Senegal one time for a competition, and I overheard the coach saying how much physicality played a very big role in them not being able to compete. So I think there's still a lot of investment that needs to go, but if we're still struggling with structure, we're still struggling with pitches and stadiums, not to mention when are we going to go into the other sides of player development, the sides like nutrition, fitness, and all of that. We're still struggling with tactical, we're still struggling with physicality, we're still struggling with basic things like having pitch to play and all of that. So imagine when we now want to go into the details of what makes all of these European countries giants in their field. So yeah, it was really eye-opening for me as a person. It's also my first time not my first time stepping foot in Ghana, but my first time being there properly, because I've passed through Ghana before. But it was really nice. It's very, very similar to Nigeria a Ghanaian would not get lost in Nigeria, a Nigerian would not get lost in Ghana. It's not very the difference in our living states, in our way of life, is not really like very big as compared to maybe like we are North Africans, for example. So Ghana is home to a lot of Nigerians. I met a couple of Nigerians that are going there for vacation, people that live there as well. It's very, very similar. That's why we banter a lot.
And I'm sure you didn't have a language barrier. This first time you're going to a country
no language barrier. So it's just that the accent is funny, and I really liked it. I think I started speaking like them at some point. I liked the way they were pronouncing their words. But I was just telling the drivers there that, come on, like Ghanaian and Nigerians were like too similar, to be honest. I was taking pictures one day, and some Ghanaian volunteers for the games were passing behind me. They were like, they thought it was one of their friends. Like, they wanted to call me, and they said, I thought it was somebody I knew. And I'm like, it's actually very normal. Like, you are easily an Ufoma in my country. Like, you are easily somebody that I can call an Igbo girl in my country. So it's like very similar, and that's why we fight a lot, because our realities are similar.
Jamie, you've been to Ghana before. Based on this last point he made, you agree?
Yeah. Like when you probably get to Accra, you probably be seeing the Lagos vibe in Accra, basically. So it's the same challenge you face in Nigeria. It's probably is most likely the same challenge you face in Ghana. Light, internet, and everything. It's similar. You see, when you get to some country, before you see a bad road, you might probably just go into okay, we are in Morocco some couple of months back, and you probably didn't see any bad road. But in Ghana, you probably, before you look left and right, you probably see one or two. But it's just that it's a minimal compared to Nigeria. But I would definitely agree with him. By the time you see a Ghanaian, you probably see a Nigerian, because they are two similar country. But one thing I want to show is our network, our data and everything is still far much more better than what you have.
It's quite expensive there. I remember I recharged. I recharged my
it's quite
line,
expensive.
and I used 38 gig in 2 days.
Yeah, it's very expensive.
38 gig in 2 days. Though I was sharing hotspots with people, but it cannot be that bad. To be honest, I was there for a week. I had to recharge my line like twice, with like heavy data usage, and they were even telling me that if I want a fast one, I would have used the MTN, but if I wanted like normal, I should have used the other ones, but they are not as fast. But I just wanted something fast, so I had
but the secret is that in Nigeria you have the opportunity to explore about internet, but Ghana is only one. After that, after MTN, the other network is not slow, as as good.
The likes of Telecel and all of those guys,
Visa-Phone and all the rest.
They were advising me to go for that. Say, I'm here on work, I need something very fast and reliable. That was expensive.
All right, indeed. The guys just sharing their experience. Mikolo specifically, who was in Ghana with Sporting Lagos for that
Rock Cup.
Yeah. So I mean, such tournaments, you're not going there to basically just to go and win, but the experience, the participation, and all that. So yeah, good one. And if you've got Ghanaians in our comment section, you can also tell us one or two about what you make of the similarities between Ghana and Nigeria. So that's just a bit of it as far as the first part of the show is concerned. We've got a lot to talk about. We've got the International Football Association Board introducing new rules to the game. We've also got to react to the UEFA Champions League draws and the Super Falcons and their preparations for the WAFCON. Is it postponed? We don't know. I'm not sure it is at the moment. So these are the talking points we've got lined up for you on the show. So you want to stick with us, don't go anywhere. We'll go on our very first break, and when we return, we'll head right back into it. Welcome back. It's still the Gliders on BETWGB Tv. I've still got Jamu and Mikolo with me on set. But just before we continue, as you can see on your screens, remember you can enjoy the very best of the BETWGB platform. Just sign up and use the promo code GLIDERS, GLIDERS, and you can enjoy and claim some bonus credits for you to use the platform. Remember to bet responsibly and make sure you are above 18. Welcome back, guys. So let's start with the new laws of the game that has been introduced by IFAB. We start off first with the throw-ins and goal kicks. I mean, we saw the last one that was introduced with as far as goalkeepers holding on to the ball for too long, seconds. And you have to release the ball if he gets to that particular amount of seconds. Now, the new one introduced now says if the referee considers that a throw-in, now it's going to involve throw-ins now, not just goal kicks now. If the referee considers that a throw-in or goal kick is taking too long or is being deliberately delayed, a 5-second visual countdown will be initiated. If the ball is not played at the end of the countdown, the throw-in will be awarded to the opposing team. A delayed goal kick will result in a corner kick to the opposing team.
Delayed goal kick.
Yes. So
all of those run-ups in the MPFL.
I
was
but before we go into that, what is this a welcome development? I mean, you've seen the implementation of the goalkeeper one. We don't know what you've made of it so far. Has it been successful? Now they've added it to throw-ins and delayed goal kicks. So that's the first one. So what do we make of it? Mikolo, let me start with you.
I think it's a welcome idea. Anything that improves sportsmanship, that improves unfair advantage and delay, I think is welcome for me. We've seen how much it has worked with the goalkeepers. There's no longer taking too long. Once you catch the ball, you have 8 seconds to restart the game. And we've seen how teams always try to bend the rules. You say where there is no law, there is no sin, right? So because there's no been law about all of these things, we see teams try to take to their advantage by delaying, especially when you're leading. I have my own fair share of that from this, even just this concluded tournament in Ghana, where because it's a scouting tournament, referees are not allowed to add to the game. So it was 30 minutes and people just used the 30 and 30. So because some of these guys were much more experienced, the moment they scored, it became a ball fest, from delaying restarts, from delaying the throw-ins to getting free kicks illegally and taking all of their time, because they knew fully well that the referees were not going to add extra minutes because it was a scouting tournament. So anything that cautions unfair advantage or unsportsmanlike behavior, I believe this is the role of the IFAB, and that's what they are currently doing. We've seen how much it has worked with the goalkeeper one. Before now, we see goalkeepers try to waste extra time in starting a goal kick, or maybe they catch the ball and they're trying to bounce 2-3 times. Some will even throw down and catch it again and all of that. So football is supposed to evolve, and we need to watch more football. There are times when we've seen in a game of 90 minutes, the ball was only in circulation for 60 minutes. It's a ball fest when it comes to that. People are taking their time on training sessions, people are taking their time on free kicks and delaying restart and all of those kind of things. So I believe it's a welcome idea. We've seen it work with the goalkeepers, so I believe it's going to work as well. All those long throws, all these substitutions. I think there's also more that you read on in the article. So I mean, we need the ball in circulation. We want to watch exciting football. We just don't want people that are playing the long one, trying to get a throw-in, and then they'll take 30 seconds on the throw-in, a lay-up, and all of those kind of ones that's going on. So, yeah, it's a welcome idea for me. And just like I've said, the goal kick one as well. We still saw one in the NPFL recently. I think it was a game against Rangers where the goalkeeper walked outside of the pitch just because he wanted to start a goal kick. It was, to him, it's a run-up, and because he cannot be penalized for that, he did his lay-up, walked as far back outside into the tracks just to come back and take the goal kick. So these are these delay tactics that needs to be put down, and I'm glad that they are considering this. I think it's a welcome idea for me. It works if it is well implemented, and hopefully it's implemented all across the world, because we want to see more games being played, we want to see more exciting football, and want to see the ball more in circulation.
Jamie, for the throwing is a 5 seconds visual countdown. Is it too small? Because we see teams now, before you throw the ball, there's towel on pitch side. You got to grab the ball, make it dry a bit with the towel. So doing that within 5 seconds, and then you lean back, you run up, and so it's 5 seconds fair, or you just want to see the ball being thrown back into the pitch quickly?
According to what you said now, you said if the referee deem it fit that there's time wasting, that's when the 5 seconds start counting. Like for example, now during the 8 seconds for goal kick, it's when the referee feel like, oh, you're taking too long, you start counting the virtual 8 seconds. So I feel like the normal throw-ins routine will go, but when you start sensing the fact that, oh, you are taking longer than expected, then the 5 seconds will start counting, which is good, because at the end of the day, you're able to cop a lot of stuff. I don't think it still affect the taking throwing, because we've seen several ways at which team wants to waste time, where one kicker is coming, then they are tossing it to another person. This one that will throw it. All those ones might reduce a bit because of the windows. Why I think the 5 seconds is fair enough, because one, you get to know that when you want to throw, you don't have to take too long to throw. And when the referee now starts sensing that, oh, you're taking too long, and it starts his count, you'll be forced to take the throw, and whatever you had in plan or you had in mind before might be disrupted because you're taking too long to actually do it. But I feel like the 5 seconds is fair enough and it's good.
And but my one question now is that when does the 5 seconds start counting? Is it until you grab the ball? Because if it's until you grab the ball, then it means you can just stand and don't hold the ball, waiting, and still you're taking your time. Or when you're walking towards the train, you know that there are some teams where they wait. Maybe the person that is with the ball is not saying I'm not the one that is taking it, so the person is not touching the ball, and then is waiting for the center back or the left back or the right back to come and walk up to the ball. So when does the 5 seconds start counting? Is it when the left back gets there, so he can still take his time while walking? Or when he gets to the point, picks up the ball, then the 5 seconds start counting. So
I think the catch here is if the referee considers that it is taking too long or is being deliberately delayed.
So it is still down to referee's jurisdiction.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what it is, because sometimes players can be funny. You know, they, like you mentioned, you walk up slowly to the byline before you could get the ball. You know, sometimes ball might even give you the ball. You could just do like say,
no, you know,
that kind of thing. So
I guess that's where I think the rule should, like, I feel like for example, this is still boils down that the referee needs to decide. There's some that is obvious on the eye, like you said. You probably they're giving you ball and you're actually taking long, or you're calling another person to come and throw. Those ones you can't actually determine the 5 seconds in that aspect. I feel like they should just sit down and try and give us a rule that will minimize the amount of time you take to actually go and take a throw. Because by the time the ball is in your hand and you want to throw, now we've gotten a rule for
5 seconds.
5 seconds for that. Then what should be the rule that will allow people to speed up to go and take their throw instead of walking and strolling to go and take a throw?
Well, we'll to see how this will be implemented on the field of play. Like this looks like it takes referee's discretion to implement that 5 seconds delay. So we'll keep our fingers crossed on that one as far as throw-ins and goal kick is concerned. If a goal kick is being delayed, it will result to a corner for the opposing team. So as far as that one is concerned, no time was placed for that one. So it's still.
I guess it's the 8 seconds. When the referee feel like that 8 seconds is over, then you know that
I know that one is for a drop ball or something when you are in possession of the ball. But this one now, it's a goal kick. Picking the ball.
I think that will apply to
that. So picking the ball and dropping it, and if you deliberately delay and the referee sees it that you're delaying, it's a corner.
5 seconds too.
Yeah, no. That they didn't specifically give a time for that.
For this one,
yes. So once you delay, it's going to be a.
Well, I'll see how this can be domesticated in all across the world, because after all these rules, everybody have to go and domesticate in their country, and I want to see how the MPFL how Nigeria as a whole will actually do.
Because I've gone to a game. I think we played a game with the academy, Sporting Lagos Academy last year, where we had an incident and the referee said he forgot about the rule. He forgot about the rule, and so that's why what Jamie is saying is very important. How domestic can we make it? Are these people updated? Are they following the IFAB the way we are reporting it now? Are the referees association also talking to themselves, even down to the most grassroots level, the associations, not just the leagues, the NLOs, the NNLs, the HIFLs, the regular game? Are they telling the referees what these rules are? Because we can't, if we are taking our time as coaches, as technical crew, to study the rules and try to use it to their advantage, the referee should be on the board as well. Because how do you mean a referee tells us that he forgot that they've changed the rule that you cannot be offside from a goal kick? Do you understand? And then he just raised Eliasma just raised it for offside. Meanwhile, you cannot be offside from a goal kick. If it's direct goal kick from the goalkeeper, you cannot be offside from it. The referee said the linesman said he didn't know, and that was the first chance of the game.
I was in a match of recent, and if a referee flagged a throw-in as offside.
These are the issues.
Well, referees too needs to stay switched on and make sure that they apply these rules correctly. It's very, very important as well. Not just the players now, the referees also need to be in the act and also be in the mix. So the next two implementations are very tricky. This one is time limited substitutions. Now, to further streamline match flow, substituted players must leave the field of play within 10 seconds
this
of the substitution board being displayed.
so
So once the board is displayed, you must leave the pitch
find a way to
within
exit the pitch.
10 seconds. Where no board is used, upon the referee's signal, should the player fail to leave within this time, they must still exit the field.
But the
However,
player will not come in.
the substitutes will not be permitted to enter until the first stoppage after 1 minute of play has elapsed. So it's more like if you delay, the player already enter.
Yeah.
You know, go enter.
Go wait
So
for
more like
after
the
game of play.
after you
after
get
ball out.
I know, and you see this thing that you're saying now is a rule, but I've seen it happen several times in the MPFL, especially on away ground where the referee know that you are actually wasting time, and they would purposely delay you coming back to the field. I've seen it where teams actually the home team had advantage of it several times, but now it's a rule. Like I said earlier on, I would love to see how this is going to be domesticated in Nigeria, especially because we know the Europe's guy, the overseas guys. We can easily see how they will implement it and how they will go about it. But how would they actually implement it in Nigeria? That's where my own bone of contention is, because at the end of the day, that's what affects me, that's what affects you, that's what affect every one of us, because you might be on the commentary section and you're seeing that kind of stuff happening,
what the rule is, and then
you're able to entirely educate people and interpret people. So that's why I said I'm actually particular about how it's going to be happening in Nigeria here, because that's how we all know that, okay, yes, everything that we are copying everything from abroad, and we're actually implementing it in our country. We're not just copying and pasting it, but we're actually copying something that will enable that will enhance the growth of the game and domesticate it very well. That's just it.
But looking at the laws, what do you make of the repercussions? Like, if you don't get out in 10 seconds, the player coming in will not be allowed to come in, after 1 minute from the first stoppage of play. Is it?
I think I think anything that curbs unfair sportsmanship, I'm in for it, because we've seen people use this to their advantage, and because it is also down to referee's jurisdiction. Is sometimes there's nothing the referee can do. For example, maybe a player is already in yellow, is failing to go out on time. You would not want to ruin the game by giving a second yellow for wasting of time. But now that it's a rule and there are other punishments that can be used, that can be exerted on these actions, then it makes the referee's job easier. So I'm not going to give a yellow card, right, if you're wasting time to come out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delay your player from coming in. So this lead that you think that you have, this lead that you think that you're protecting, this wasting of time that you think you're protecting is under threats. I mean, if your team is playing 10 man down for at least a minute, if the ball doesn't go out, so you know that, I want to substitute, I should go out on time. These guys, there's some guys that as soon as you substitute them, they're still trying to take out their shin pads, they're trying to shake everybody, they're trying to do all of those kind of theatrics, or some that you say, go out from this end of the pitch, and they're trying to intentionally come to the middle part of the pitch when there's other places where you can exit from. So I believe that it makes the game better, especially this new rules. I mean, this ones in particular, I agree with it. Maybe there are some other rules that might have been introduced that I might not agree with, but I feel like these ones are very, very important when it comes to time wasting, when it comes to sportsmanship, like behavior. If you're leading, defend your lead. If you're going to win, make sure you work hard for it and get the win. So you just don't score 1 minute and then you want to waste time for the remaining 85 minutes of the game, and you're doing things, falling on the floor, trying to substitute, trying to delay your throw-ins and all of those kind of things. So I think it's going to make the game better.
I think I also want to see the tactical battle in which when you know that you are one man down and the substitution is not being made because the player that's supposed to didn't leave the pitch on time. I want to see how the opposing team will tactically explore that 1 month advantage and see how they can do it. Because at the end of the day, if you are playing against a team that keeps the ball very well and didn't go out on time, they might decide to elongate the time and keep moving you around until they find the opening space where they'll punish you with it. But that's why I said that's something that I want to actually see the tactical battle that will go out there. I'm going to exploit that option for that 1 minute and see how some like you cannot come back inside until after 1 minute. That means I can decide to keep moving you around, until maybe 2 minutes or so, and let's see if you can actually get something from that match, and if that will make you win a match. fine.
Good luck to you.
Yeah, the third and final one is off-field treatment and assessment. Another area where teams capitalize on, time wasting and all that. So this one says,
I was hoping this
one should be implemented in Nigeria. This one is for Nigeria.
This one says, where a player receives on-field assessments for an injury or their injury causes play to be stopped, the player will be required to leave the field of play and remain off for 1 minute once play has restarted.
I think I love that one, especially coming from a Nigerian. I've seen it so many times. I think there was a game last season, Sporting Lagos was Abakaliki. The amount of moments spent treating injuries was much more than the time that was spent playing football, and that was because they wanted a draw. So I think it improves football, it improves the spirit of the game, it improves everybody wants to play fairly and try to win, knowing fully well that these sanctions are now legalized by the footballing body. I think it helps people to want to play football more, because it's very unfair. Maybe we don't see much of that happening in the bigger sense, but in grassroots level, in mid semi-professional teams and all of those newly professional teams, I think it happens a lot where a team is leading and then for every kick they want to summon the medics to come in just because they want to waste some time, and they want to be treated on the pitch.
River just played Eyimba, and after the match the goalkeeper was like, you guys didn't give me to go and play for you guys came to just lie down for so this kind of rule will have actually helped them a lot and see how they can,
because that once you go outside for a minute, is it a minute or after a game?
A
minute. So it means that if you feign an injury that the referee had to summon the medics in, it means you have to leave the pitch with the medics. There's nothing like just minor. You have to leave with the pitch with the medic, and you have to spend at least a minute outside. So I think that one would curb a lot of the time wasted. So that until you are genuinely injured, you don't have the right to go down and call on the medics, right? Because that's 1 minute outside for you. So I think, but all of these rules, right, is still also very subject to interpretation by the referees. Interpretation in the sense that, how about people that are genuinely injured, right? People that were genuinely injured and they needed treatment. So it shouldn't be a punishment, right? If they go outside and they're getting treated and they get better or all of those kind of things. So I don't know. I think my own issue, right, is that even with VAR, even with offside rule, even with all of these things, it still boils down to the human side of it sometimes. We still see the human error come into play sometimes. You still see people like some of these referees say, I knew this thing was a foul, but I didn't want to tell the referee to go to VAR because he felt like I was disrespecting him. That's the human angle. It means that there's been a rule that we're trying to automate, right? But now go and use it. You are still putting the human factor into it. You are still putting the human ego into it by saying, I don't want to send this particular referee to the VAR. Then why do we have VAR? If we're able to review incidents, then why are you telling us that you don't want to send him to VAR? So why then do we have video assistant review for all those kind of things? So it still boils down to how it is being interpreted by these referees. Are they open to doing these things? Do they enforce it on all of the teams in the same way that they do it? Do they not put their personal preferences into things? Because I've seen some of these rules. Arsenal is every time they used to cry about some of these incidents, decisions that you see them collect a second yellow card for. Yes, it is stated in the rule of the game, but interpretation by different referees sometimes. Kicking the ball away, Declan Rice collected a second yellow card. Trossard collected the second yellow card and collected a red card. Over the course of the season, there's not been anyone of such again, right? And people have continued to do it. So how do we ensure that this interpretation, these new rules are being enforced in the same light and the same weight in all the games by all of the referees? It still boils down to the referees themselves. So do we automate refereeing? I don't think it's possible.
No, at the end of the day, if all of us can sit down inside the same exam hall and all of us cannot get 100, and we are reading the same book, that the same course they give us, it's the same way that I don't expect that we get consistency of refereeing from the same people. Because at the end of the day, a referee can give this as a foul today and tomorrow he's changing his mind, making it of it. But as long as there's, no matter the amount of rules that we want to bring into football, as long as the referee has still the alpha and omega of the match, there will always be lapses, there will always be
controversies,
there will always be controversies, and the interpretation I'm sure a referee cannot what's called officiate the match 5 times and is consistent with his calling for the all 5 matches. There will always be difference. That's why no matter how you want to do it, our fingers can never be equal. So you always get that misinterpretation once in a while. So when it favors you today, sing praises. When it does not favor you tomorrow, still sing praises.
But that's not the point of the rules, to be honest, because the rules are supposed to be consistent, right? If you are bringing new rules to football, it should
improve
be
the flow of the game.
You should improve the flow of the game. Not
because so many delays, so many stoppages, and sometimes it's intentional from teams.
Like these stoppages, these rules that we're talking about, at the long run, team will still find a way to actually go around it. That's why you see when there is virus, there's an antivirus. So the FIFA is bringing us the antivirus to everything. So then the teams will sit down one day and look, okay, what's the new virus can actually put together, and FIFA to get to work and look, okay, what can we do to actually minimize this thing? At the end of the day, this thing might be minimized, but we cannot take it off totally. So you can only minimize it, you cannot actually eradicate it. So at the end of the day, the goal is actually to minimize it as much as you can.
Right. I mean, Mikolo Tango, you touched on VAR. The VAR are not also left out. Some implementations as well. Now there are some certain incidents now that can be reviewed by VAR. One of them is red cards arising from a clearly incorrect second yellow card. Now VAR can have a review of that and rescind the decision. Another one is mistaken identity. When the referee penalizes a wrong team for an offense, resulting in a red card, a yellow card.
When the referee penalizes Gibbs instead of Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain.
So now VAR can see that and also talk to the referee to make the proper call. Now, competitions may allow VAR to also review a clearly incorrectly awarded corner kick. Now, we've seen teams where, they felt it's not a corner, and now it resulted in a corner and led to a goal. But from replays, you could clearly see that it wasn't a corner; it's supposed to be a goal kick. And so now VAR now can review such incidents now and award the right decision, provided that the referee can be the review can be completed immediately and without delaying the restart. So what do we make of this one, Jamie? You seem to be
the corner. Several times after the VR has been introduced, we had series of that event where there's a mistaken where the corner is giving it off goal kick, and we have seen teams complain about it, and we've seen teams get punished because of that or lost a match because of that. The fact that now VR can now see to it is also a good development, because now you know that you have when you see that this is supposed to be a goal kick, you can actually protest and see them reviewing it, as long as it does not delay the game unnecessarily, which is good, because we've seen teams lost out of competition because of that. We've seen dreams cut short because of that, and now you can actually correct it and see how it will go, hoping that it will actually also minimize all the mistaken identity and not giving the right call to a team. And by this time, because sometimes set piece is now becoming a team for teams, and teams are now seeing that teams are now using it to win matches. Arsenal played yesterday, and Arsenal Chelsea played yesterday, and the 3 goals was scored by
team celebrate corners now.
So imagine one of those corners were actually not a corner and was a goal kick, and we lost because of this. Now you have a VAR that actually correct it. When a team is celebrating that, got a corner to punish you, and they went to go and check it and no, it's not a corner. That's a win for you, and it probably lost for the team that celebrated the corner. So it's a good thing, because corner and throwing are becoming something teams use to actually win games. It's not about just the normal shift from this side to this side. Now people are going beyond the football play, the putting the ball on the ground and looking at how to use services to win games. So these are things that will also help teams as well. And for example, now you are trying to avoid the corner and a ball is mistaken as a corner. You can actually protest it and get justice for it.
Mikolo, quick thoughts on that one. VAR has been controversial since it was implemented, and now this further addition now to review some further decisions.
I think on paper looks very good. That the fact that we can always have video replay is always going to be welcome, right? Because you can always get decisions wrong on the spot, and then you have video replays to help you go through them again. So extending that to corner kicks, to second yellow card, mistaken identity, I think it really helps further in the game. It can be reviewed, knowing that nothing is cast in stone when a decision is made. Though it slows down the game, but I mean, knowing that you're able to make the right decisions is a very good one. But as I've said, also now boils down to implementation, interpretation of the rules by these referees. Because even now, right, you might think this is a foul during a corner kick. They have gone to VAR review. You think it's going to be called off. Referee says, no, I'm not calling it off. Even though you can see that it's an handball. So it still boils down to the interpretation of the rules by the referee, right? So I feel like the referees too should get better with their decision making, and also use the aid of this video assistance, right, as well as these new rules that have come into play. I think it makes the job easier, right? Not it should not be an ego thing where you feel like sending somebody to a VAR screen is disrespectful and all of that. It's just video referee, basically. The fact that you're a seasoned referee doesn't mean you see everything that happens on the pitch of play, so you can also make mistakes. So I would expect that this rules, obviously on paper, looks like they would improve the game and all of that, but I also need to make sure that the interpretation by these referees do not cause controversies. We need lesser controversies. The more we are automating rules, the more we are automating our decisions in football, the less controversies we should have. We shouldn't still be having, oh, I forgot. A referee actually said they forgot to draw the lines 2 seasons ago, Brentford versus Arsenal, to check for offside. He forgot to draw the line. So sometimes we have to still acknowledge that these things are also down to like human error and all of that. But I mean, the rules, welcome idea. This is a very they're addressing the critical issues in football, and I really like that for them.
For the corner ones, just to put things in perspective, not all corner kicks will be reviewed, because there are some that are as clear as day.
Yeah.
You know, it's a corner kick, but you know, those tricky ones, you need to quickly, because according to what is written here, you have to ensure that it doesn't delay the restart as much as it can. So it's going to be a snappy review, because you're just checking for a corner, so it's going to be sharp. But there are some clear-cut ones you don't need to. It's obvious, everyone can see it's a corner, so you make the decisions.
You can't go and be reviewing Raya save to a corner, and you can't be reviewing if it's a corner or not.
You get that kind of thing. So I just have to put that on in perspective. So there are other laws of the game that would be implemented as they go. So many of them in that circular that was released. The number of permitted substitutes in a senior international friendly match is going to be increased to 8. There are also some where non-dangerous items will be permitted if safely and securely covered. This is for footballers now. Non-dangerous items will be allowed. Referee body cameras may be used as a competition option, with the competition providing the cameras and controlling the use of the footage. So it's a lengthy one, so we'll wait for when this one will be implemented. But I will quickly scroll down to this one where it says the IFAB also agreed that consultation will be held to develop measures where players unilaterally deciding to leave the field of play as an act of protest against a referee's decision or team's officials instigating such action. The AFCON comes to mind. And players covering their mouth when confronting opponents during matches. Champions League comes to mind. So there will be a consultation to determine what happens if this goes on in a football game. So I mean, they indeed saw the recent incidents from the AFCON and also from the UEFA Champions League. So they are trying to consult and act on this one. I mean, I don't know if you guys have anything to add to that one.
I was actually expecting that something like this will happen on the long run, because FIFA sometimes preempt what can happen in the future, and they try and guide against it, because they've seen it happening in the AFCON, and they see that
it's a big issue.
It's a big issue, and Senegal benefited from it.
Yeah,
they know that on the long run, they might see that at the international stage, where a team feel like, oh, okay, a team has done it. They got what they got what they wanted, and they went ahead with the result. Okay, let's try and see if we can do it too as well. So this is just about just them saying that, oh, okay, we are gonna sit down and talk about this and see how we can actually guide against this happening in the future, where we are in the middle of the competition. I feel like a decision is against you, and you want to throw everybody under the bus at the international stage. Look at what happened at Morocco. It was not a good sight at all.
Yeah.
Especially from the fan angle side, where people lost their lives. Some people are going to be staying in prison because of them not controlling their emotion and everything. So, and we saw what happened at P side too, where players flare up and everything. And of recent too, we saw Vini and what's called and the Benfica player with their own incident too. It's only the player and Vini knows what went on under the shirt, what he said and I don't think there's any way he can prove if what he said was right or what he said was racist or not, because I was telling somebody, I said after witnessing how noisy Morocco is, I don't think how would Vinicius be able to hear what the player said at that point. Either it is true or it is not true. It is left for them to go and investigate and actually judge it. But the fact that they're actually trying to put the measure to actually stop those things from happening in the future is a very great one. At least they are not sitting down, not like in Nigeria where something has to happen before you start planning for it. Now they are planning ahead. Okay, in case this thing happens again, or when this one happens in international stage, what are the laws and rules binding it? By the time it happens, you know that this is the consequences of what I'm doing. So you know, yes, if I do this is the consequence of it. So and then you know, yes, by the time this is the result of this is a punishment. Fine. Is that you ask yourself, am I going to do this or am I not going to do it?
Right, we'll wait to see how that one pans out. Consultations will be held to determine what the final verdict will be from that one. But as far as the first three laws we talked about, the ones for delayed throw-ins and goal kicks, time-limited substitutions, off-field treatment and assessment of injured players, these ones will be implemented starting from the World Cup come this summer. So we'll
not see all this information until next season in the across Europe.
Yeah, across Europe. So but World Cup will be where it will firstly tested, and then we'll see how it pans out. If it works out well, comes out good, then other leagues will follow suit as well and implement and see how this one will improve the flow of the football game. Well, Jamiu wrapped up with the racism issue in the UEFA Champions League, and after this break we'll be reacting to the round of 16 draws that was held just last week, and teams will be slugging it out for a place in the quarterfinal. We'll be right back after this very short break. Don't you go anywhere. Welcome back to the Gliders. It is still BETWGB Tv, and like we always remind you on the show, we've got some huge bonus credits for you to claim if you sign up on the platform BETWGB. Just type in our promo code Gliders, GLIDERS, and you can enjoy the very best. And like we always say, bet responsibly and make sure you are above the age of 18. Now let's talk about the UEFA Champions League. The draw was held on Friday after the round of 16 playoffs. It's the new format, the second season where this Champions League new format will be coming in full swing. Now we've seen the teams who've made it from the playoffs. Now the top 8 just chilling somewhere. The teams finishing 24 to 36. Pack their bags. No, it's not the normal way where you drop from the Champions League to the Europa League. Once you finish 24th to 36, you are going home. You are out of the competition, and now from 9th to 24th, we slug it out to join the top 8 in the round of 16. So we've seen the draws, interesting games. Some were repetitions, but these are fixtures we always want to watch as far as football games are concerned. So I'm going to give you. You can also see it on your screen as well. We've got Galatasaray up against Liverpool. Like I said, some of these fixtures are repeat. These two teams met also in the group phase. Atalanta will be taking on Bayern Munich. Atletico Madrid will play host to Tottenham in the first leg. Newcastle will take on Barcelona. Leverkusen will take on Arsenal. PSG will be at home in the first leg against Chelsea. And Bodo Glimt will be taking on Sporting Lisbon. Two teams evenly matched, but Bodo Glimt has been doing wonders in the UEFA Champions League this season. And the biggest one, Real Madrid, will be playing host to Manchester City in the first leg. Guys, what are your thoughts when you saw the results of these draws when it was held on Friday? Mikolo, let me start with you.
I
You were in
think
Ghana when the draws happened.
yeah, I was in Ghana and I just had my friend send it to me. I was like, road to Budapest.
Yeah.
As an Arsenal fan. So yeah, I think that was just like the first reaction. And I think there was also like a full blown rant on social media. I think by fans of Madrid about the fact that they're always facing Manchester City.
Yeah. Even the Madrid players and the coaches, they knew it was Man City. I saw an interview from Koto. It's definitely going to be Man City.
Definitely Man City. So I think we're tired of that fixture already.
Really, but it always lives up to expectations.
It's always going to live up, and I think that's the one thing. The one thing you don't know is what to expect. Every year, there's always like a different twist to it. Is it that one team is winning 3-0, somebody's coming back? I know we saw the magic that happened. I think that was in the 2022 season where Madrid came back and then defeated them in the last few minutes of the game. So it's always going to be a very tactical one. Manchester City versus Real Madrid, two of the biggest teams in the world. Manchester City, it must change Manchester City now, but I still expect that they're still firing. The likes of Czeki, the likes of Semenyo have settled so well into the squad that you can't even know that they've lost the likes of De Bruyne and the likes of Gundogan and some of these guys that have been their firepower for a very long time. I think that's a very exciting one. I think another exciting one will also be the Paris Saint-Germain versus Chelsea. They met in the final of the Club World Cup, and Chelsea decimated and dismantled them as champions of they are defending champions of the Champions League. So it's a very exciting one. I've seen Chelsea fans try to play safe. I think a mutual friend of myself and Jamil was trying to downplay Chelsea's chances, but I knew that I was just joking, and I was like, oh, this is the end of the road for Chelsea. But if they defeat Paris Saint-Germain, they're going to be all over the place. I think now is also the chance for them to justify that win in the Club World Cup final. World champions, even though they lost yesterday to Arsenal, but I think now it's for them to justify that. So those are very, very exciting fixtures. I think there's also Newcastle versus Barcelona. That was a classic one in the league phase. In the first league phase, it was a very classic one. Marcus Rashford coming back to England to score those wonder goals. So I think it's also going to be very exciting one for them.
Newcastle especially.
They're going to be welcoming Barcelona to the St. James Park, and I'll also be going to the Camp Nou. I mean, for fixtures like this, they didn't have a chance of going 2 legs in the group phase, right? In the league phase. So now they have a chance to do that. For some of the Newcastle players, it's going to be a dream come true to go to the Camp Nou to be able to play against Barcelona. So it's very exciting. Madrid, Man City, PSG, Chelsea, Galatasaray versus Liverpool. I've seen Victor Osimhen also come out to speak about the draws and mention that for them, I think they asked them who was going to face between Liverpool and Liverpool. He wanted to avoid Liverpool. He said if they face Liverpool, it's also sort of a revenge for them because they lost to Liverpool in the group round phase. So it's going to be very exciting.
They actually sort of revenge for Liverpool because Liverpool lost in the group phase in Turkey to Galatasaray. And Osimhen scored penalty.
He scored for penalty. So
he's afraid of the revenge that Liverpool
are coming with. I think it's very exciting for me. I loved the game in the group phase and the league phase. I mean, the battle between Van Dijk, Konate, and all of that for Victor Osimhen. So can't wait to see him in Europe. We also have another boy from Atletico Madrid, Ademola Lookman, firing on all cylinders, going to be facing off with Tottenham, and then Bayer Leverkusen versus Arsenal. I think the draws are evenly perfect. I mean, maybe one side is much more weaker than the other on the bracket side, and but it's very, very exciting to see. PSG, Chelsea, Madrid, Man City. I think those are the very big ones. There's also Atlanta versus Bayern. Then Bodo Glimt versus Sporting Lisbon. Those are the games I'm really looking for.
Jamie, let me come to you before you give your general thoughts on the draw. As an Arsenal fan, do you agree that Arsenal are in the easier part of the draw? Because rival fans have tried to push this agenda that that Arsenal is on the it's just on the plate for Arsenal to win the Champions League. Yes, we know they are in the Premier League title race, top of the table, but is this an easier side of the draw for us?
I would say the reward for the reward for hard work is more work. So the reward for topping,
you can see the part where
the reward for topping the table is to get an easier draw, because a team wins 8 of 8 and you still want me to go through the ashes of no, you don't do that. I can't beat 8 teams, like 8 different teams, not like it is home and away. 8 different teams, 8 times in the space of how many months? 6 months, 3 months or 4 months. And the team is now getting to an easier part. You are now complaining. If it's that easy to actually beat, to do 8/8, why didn't you do it to stay at the top of the
I think I've also seen the opinion from some Liverpool fans claiming that when they won the group phase last year,
they had to
they
face
faced all the
PSG
PSG.
next,
And I just tell you that it is normal. PSG finished and came from the round of 16 playoffs, right, to qualify. So they are like the 16th team and they qualified. So it's the same thing with what's currently going on. Bayer Leverkusen now to go through that phase as well and to come outside. So it's not a favorable thing per se. It is a structured thing. It is what has been
and
put.
It's not the same rule that actually applied this year that applied last year, where the first 4 or first 8 will play their second what's called throughout the whole knockout stage. They played at the second round. I think it was not the same rule. I think the first 2 or 3 that applies to last year. I can't really remember now, but all I know is that the rules that applies to you playing your second leg at home throughout the whole knockout stage was not there last season.
Yeah.
So it's a different thing entirely, and there's one thing that comes with the luck of the draw. Arsenal could have still finished first and be at this side of the draw, or they find themselves here. It works for them. It doesn't guarantee the fact that they will get to the final. They still need to work and beat the teams in their front. Last season they had difficult teams and they still beat them to get to the semi-final before they eventually lost to Bayern Munich. They faced Madrid. To
PSG, Arsenal.
Yes,
before they lost to PSG.
They faced Madrid and they faced one other team before Madrid, and they had to face who was in their front. Now they have Bayer Leverkusen.
They still faced Leverkusen at some point last season, if I'm right.
I think they still. I think they're
trying to remember now.
I think no. Was it last season or last season? Their recent meeting was Arsenal won 4-1. So that means they still have to fake the team in their front. Inter go Bodo Glimt and they were
knocked out. Yeah,
I'm sure they were like, oh, it taken until they lost both home and away. So Arsenal is facing Bayer Leverkusen. Let's see how that goes between now and God knows between now and between now and when the quarterfinal stage will be set. Let's see how far they will go with it. And if they beat them, fine. If Leverkusen get the upper hand, it's all well and good. But at the end of the day, you still have to play a team to get to the final. So that means they have to take it one round after the other round.
Your general thoughts on the draw, the big games, Real Madrid, Man City, Chelsea.
I'm actually looking forward to the Nigerian team playing Gala, Liverpool,
the Nigerian guys,
and Atletico Tottenham and Madrid. I like the fact that they are both playing English team. Lukman coming to England, find Osimhen playing an England team again, where he has to show that if people that still doubt him that he's not a world class or not a big player, where he still has to come and announce himself again and tell them this is where I belong, so this is where I want to be. He has a chance to do it again, and let's see how that will go. Last time they played, they won. He scored a penalty. Everywhere was good, and let's see how far they can go with it. And they also have a chance. Liverpool is not the same Liverpool of last season. They are still struggling a bit. So let's see what goes with it. But I feel like it's a balanced draw. Everybody's actually facing their mates. But I like the fact that Bodo Glimt got Sporting, where you know that man to man, to fighting. So let's go. So whoever comes,
challenge.
Whoever comes on top will face whoever win between Arsenal and Leverkusen. And it's in one side of me will actually love Bayer Leverkusen to actually win. So to see what's go, to see Bayer Leverkusen face either Sporting Lisbon or what's called or Bodo Glimt, because that's also a equally paired draw. But as an Arsenal fan, I would definitely want Arsenal to actually go through.
So now you're an Arsenal fan.
Well, interesting games.
So now he's an Arsenal fan.
No, he knows what he's doing. We all know what we are doing. But interesting games to look forward to in the UEFA Champions League. And I mean, it's the right time for us to react to the draws, because the next time we'll be here, we'll be previewing the games properly, because these fixtures will be played in the week of 10th and 11th of March. That's next week, Tuesday and Wednesday. Not just the Champions League, there's also the Europa League and the Conference League. But of course, we have to focus on the Champions League because it is the very top of European football. So we wish the teams all the very best. And like Jami mentioned, our Nigerian brothers, Osimhen, It's not for the first time he'll play at Anfield. Played at Anfield with Napoli. This time he'll be doing it with Galatasaray, and also Ademola Lookman, who saw 45 minutes of action over the weekend for Atleti, will also be going to England to take on Tottenham Hotspur. So interesting games across board in the UEFA Champions League. We'll keep our fingers crossed on how the fixtures will pan out. The final is going to be held in Budapest, and as a Liverpool fan, I want to see Dominic Szoboszlai in that final. But hey, I'll keep our fingers crossed on that one. We'll go on another break, potentially our last break on the show, and when we return, we'll talk about the Super Falcons, the friendly games, the WAFCON, and how it's been so far. Not to go anywhere, one final break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, still the Gliders on BETWGB TV. I'm sure if you've been with us till this very point, it's been a wonderful time. The very best of analysis, the very best of dissections as far as topics are concerned. And we've got one final lap on the show, and it's going to be very short. But just before we go there, just to remind you once again, the BETWGB platform is the very best. Sign up, use our promo code GLIDERS, GLIDERS, to claim some bonus credits. Remember, you have to be above the age of 18. Guys, let's wrap things up on the show with the Super Falcons. Nicola, I'm going to start with you because you were at the last WAFCON. Are you enjoying the buzz so far? You know, there's been a whole lot of drama, a whole lot of talk. First, we saw, I'm trying to remember her name now, a South African official coming out to say the WAFCON has been, the host has been changed to South Africa. So a lot of people misinterpreted that. Teams are already in Morocco as well. I saw a clip of the Burkina Faso women already in Morocco preparing for the tournament. Super Falcons are still here, you know, playing some fixtures in preparation.
In Cameroon?
Yeah, they're in Cameroon as well. So have you felt the buzz that the WAFCON is really coming up?
I think I've not, to be honest. I think on our own end, we're really looking forward to it because we tend to win a lot, and our media team are trying to, like, you know, build up the hype towards it. But I mean, unfortunately, this is not even to sound some type of way. The women's game is still not where it should be in Africa, and now we're having all of these logistical issues on a game that we're still trying to develop and market to people. I think is really sad for CAF. And then I think the worst thing that could have happened to CAF was that AFCON final that happened and Morocco not winning it. I think from that moment onward, it has led to a series of, you know, decisions and discussions that has been very sad. First off, they were having to punish Senegal, punish Morocco. That final also led to the imprisonment of some Senegal fans, right? It has also led to a little bit of, you know, back and forth with fans saying Morocco are trying to cheat their way to a title. It has also led to if Morocco will still be hosting the WAFCON. From then on, it has brought about the South African Deputy Minister of Sport and Youth coming out to say it has shifted to them. Morocco came out to say it has not shifted. CAF said they were going to come up with a decision in February. They didn't announce anything in February. Everybody died down and thought it was still going on. Now, there was supposed to also be a WAFU B for the Super Falcons. We're supposed to have a WAFU tournament. It didn't materialize because I think Ghana went to China to participate in a competition, and then we now had to go back to our friends, the guys that usually bail us out on friendly competitions. That's Cameroon. They were here 2 times last year, but we played only one. Now we're having to play them in another double leg in Yaoundé against them. Now I think it's very sad. One is the fact that CAF didn't come out to clarify that the competition is still going to hold, or if Morocco is still going to host. Today is the second day of March, or the second day of March, and there's still no accreditation out for media journalists that want to go to the WAFCON. There's no accreditation request. There's no successful or not for a competition that is supposed to start on the 17th day of March, which is 15 days to go. So when are people supposed to buy their flights? Where are people supposed to make when are people supposed to make their plans for the tournament itself? I see some people do countdown. I mean, there's a friend of mine that's currently doing a countdown to the WAFCON on our pages, but it's still not looking like it is possible for us to go there. So I mean, I would have expected by now that there should be some form of statement that's coming out. So I mean, it's affecting the both. And just like what Edafe once said about the competition, he mentioned the fact that the closeness that the competition is having to each other might affect the buzz of this one, right? And I think I agree, because if the competition, if there was still a competition in July last year, I want to have another one in March for the same Morocco that just hosted a final in January. I mean, it's looking like, what are people looking forward to again in Morocco? This is going to be the third consecutive one that they're going to be hosting if they go ahead to host this one. So they've hosted before, they hosted last year, and now they are going to host this one again. So I mean, in between that, they've hosted the Under-17 World Cup for the girls, they've hosted the Under-17 boys, and they've hosted a lot of stuff. They've hosted the AFCON. So what are people looking forward to in Morocco again that they've not seen? So I think that's where the buzz is starting to die down. People are just, what's going on with it? Are we still going back to Morocco? What's new in Morocco that we've not seen? Is it the Prince Moulay Abdullah Stadium? We've seen it. Is it this one? We've seen it. If we didn't see it during the WAFCON last year, we saw it during the AFCON in December and January. So, and then we have seen Morocco. So, I mean, there's nothing exciting about the competition, and I think CAF has to do something about this. Come out with a statement. Even CAF themselves have not started posting materials, promotional materials for the WAFCON that's supposed to start this month. It is individual teams that have started posting themselves. I think I saw Morocco players arriving camp, the female players arriving camp, and I saw pictures of them arriving at the Mohammed complex, right? And I've also seen Super Falcons also try. I think the team for this year is the Coins. I think so. I've seen some form of like media materials that they've started to drop. So the hype, I'm not feeling it yet, and I think this is purely due to CAF themselves.
Jamie, I don't know if you share similar
actually the same sentiment with what Mikolo have said, because at the end of the day too, it's boiled down to all the federations, because I'm sure they are financially stretched. Imagine you doing WAFCON in July, doing in AFCON in December, and you are doing another WAFCON again in March. So where if you are in a competition where the money for sponsorship is not flowing as you have it in Europe, and the fact that you have to do all these things in the space of less than a year, where even most of the time your annual budget is not even enough to cover one tournament. That means you are doing 3 in less than a year, and you're practically going to the same country, virtually almost the same expenses. Like you said, when you go in July, when people went to WAFCON in July, okay, you know that there's this particular stadium that is not completed. This one is not completed. Okay, let me see what will happen when I go in. When I go in December, because by that time they're like, oh, all these things will have been completed, we'll have seen it. Now you're going in March. What's that one new thing you feel like, oh, when I get to Morocco now I'm going to see? The only new place that they added to this year WAFCON is Fez. It's Fez, yeah. And when people went to AFCON, actually Nigeria, and they saw it. Also, this also applies to journalists too. WAFCON.
It's a stretch financially,
in 1 year, and in the same country. What is that one?
And even when it comes to brands, right? When it comes to brands, where's the sponsorship? Where's the ROI? Where's, like, because I mean, for last year's WAFCON, there was, we are chasing a 10th title. That's the angle to that, right? So it's a lot of marginal returns. Like, we've gotten to a max, right, where there's the satisfaction of, we want to win a 10th. I don't think there is a motivation for brands to say, we want to support the Super Falcons or want to go all out for the 11th one. The 10th was like the perfect one, and especially because it was in Morocco, and we felt like, there's something to look forward to. I feel like probably a new location would have given this a fresh look. We're going to go and play in South Africa, so there's a look of, Amapiano versus Afrobeat, or there is an angle of, we're going to go and face with the South African girls in their own home. are they hosting to win? They've denied us a WAFCON before. They are one of our biggest rivals on the continent of Africa. So there's a storytelling angle to it. This WAFCON in Morocco doesn't have a storytelling angle that is very peculiar.
The only thing different there is that this is the one that will qualify teams to the World Cup.
Yeah.
So apart from that, that's why no matter how would we no matter how foot dragging we do, the AFCON must host the AFCON this year, because by next year we're having another World Cup for the women team. So that's the only driving force that is actually driving the teams, or that I feel like will be driving it. Okay, let's go and play, because this is actually a ticket to the World Cup. Apart from that, there is no any other team that is new or that is exciting. Like for example, now imagine I've gone to Morocco 2 times already, and if you tell me I'm going to South Africa, maybe a country I've not been to before, or another country, I'll be excited. Like, let me go and see what's there. Let me go and see what the environment looks like. Let me go and see what this country has. Let me see what it has in store. But currently, I don't think there's any thing that will psych you up to want to go to Morocco, except the fact that you want to go and witness your team.
Wow, they say good thing they sweet, but they tire people.
Yes, there's a lot of marginal returns. A lot of marginal returns.
Well, we just have to see how this one pan out. But talking about these Super Falcons, I mean, as far as preparations is concerned, they lost the first game in Yaoundé against Cameroon. It's a double-header friendly game. It was a late goal. I don't know if any of you saw that game, but it was a late goal, and the Super Falcons have lost that one. So they've got the reverse fixture to be played on the 3rd of March. So I will keep our fingers crossed on that one. Yeah, that's really a short time. So I mean, it's not about winning these sort of games, but to see how prepared the girls are for these games. A lot has been said about the poor preparations for the Super Falcons as far as tournaments like this is concerned, and we'll see how it goes. But good to see Justin Madugu give some players a run out in the team. He handed a debut to England-based goalkeeper Comfort Ehabo, who started between the sticks. So Gift Monday is back in the squad. Ngozi Okobi also back in the picture as well. So some players you want to keep an eye on, and hopefully we'll see who gets to make the final squad for the WAFCON. And like Jamiu mentioned, the WAFCON is grounds for World Cup qualification. So the final 4 will be qualifying for the World Cup, if I'm right. Yeah, the final 4, will be qualifying for the 4 semi-finalists will be making it to the World Cup, which is going to be held in Brazil. Super Falcons are defending champions, and they have been grouped in Group C alongside Malawi, Zambia, and Egypt. So
Casablanca.
The WAFCON has been slated to begin from 17th March to 3rd of April, but some reports came out over the weekend that it might be postponed, but no official word from CAF, from the governing body as well. So you want to take such stories with a pinch of salt till you get an official statement from the organizing body. And with that, it's a wrap on the show today. It's been a wonderful time. Jamiu, thank you for doing this with us. Hopefully we get to see you soon again.
Thank you for having me. I'm always 1 call away if you guys want me to come.
1 call away.
I'm only 1 call away.
Well, it's a pleasure. Mikolo, always a pleasure as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Welcome back
to
from
be
the trip.
Yeah, definitely. Happy New Month, guys.
He's looking kind of, when he came back from Morocco, he was looking fresh. Now you can see that the Ghana sun is beating him. So
but Mikolo was having none of it as far as the food is concerned. The Ghana jollof, it never.
He was
never.
Ghanaians, don't want yourself, please. You try, but come on, please.
But there's one thing I will never recover from Ghana: their network, terrible.
Well,
I don't have that experience. So
terrible.
I don't have that experience. I had good network.
Terrible.
Different shades, different experiences, but surely Ghanaians, we love you. You are brothers, and
my brothers. Charlie, I be there Accra last week. I enjoy myself.
I think that's one country I will actually be, and I will not feel like I miss Nigeria.
Charlie, you guys now do it.
Language, everything, top notch.
My name is Emmanuel Sebastian. It's been fun. Till we come your way again next time. Enjoy the rest of the week. Enjoy the month of March. Stay safe, stay healthy, and be blessed. Bye bye.